Okay, hello. Today is Thursday, January 5th, and I am coming to you live with some updates for the Vedic Astrology of January 2023. And so tomorrow, Friday, January 6th, at about 4:19 p.m. Mountain Time, we have a full moon in sidereal Gemini, the nakshatra of Punarvasu. And this is the nakshatra of the return of the light. This is a time when lost treasures are returned. And it is an area of the sky ruled by Aditi, who is the great cosmic mother, the undifferentiated abundance of the creative mother. And she is easily satisfied with the gifts offered to her by her children. So it's this sort of vibe where, as a little kid, you come home from preschool with your macaroni drawing or whatever, and mom says, "Oh my God, that's amazing," and you hang it on the wall, and it's terrible. It's not good art, but it's the offering from your heart. And so if you're doing any full moon rituals, this is a beautiful time to just offer straight from your heart what is the innocent creation that wants to arise from you, and that will be satisfying to the Divine Mother. And so this is an area of the sky where we think about differentiation versus non-differentiation. And so Aditi's sister is Diti, which is to differentiate. And Diti gave birth to all the demons and the demonic forces, which are splitting us into this divisive way of thinking. Whereas Aditi, non-differentiation, is this unified consciousness, the sama, the harmony of mind and being, which is generally understood to be a more peaceful place to be. So that's our full moon tomorrow afternoon. Again, if you're going to do full moon remedies, try to do it before tonight would be the night to do it. Otherwise, before about 4 p.m. tomorrow, Friday. So that's that. We've also got the Sun and Mercury in very close conjunction in Sagittarius, and actually on starting tomorrow evening until Saturday afternoon, January 7th, Mercury will be Cazimi. This is when Mercury is in precise conjunction with the Sun. And so, of course, Mercury is retrograde and combust right now. So generally, when a planet is very, very close to the Sun, it depletes its power, right? Like sitting out in the sun all day makes you exhausted and you get sunburned. And so being too close to the Sun is depleting and agitating, and you get angry and frustrated. But there's this beautiful moment when the alignment is precise, and they're within 1 degree of each other, or within 16 minutes of each other. And so when that alignment becomes precise, instead of being agitating and burning you up, it becomes clarifying and empowering. And it's like using a magnifying glass with the sun, where it's, it can be scattered, the light is scattered, but then you get the angle just right, and it becomes hyper focused and can do really powerful things. And so the window for this is about 7:30 p.m. Tomorrow night, Friday night, to about 4 p.m. Saturday afternoon. So this is a great time to be doing things like card readings, tarot cards, doing your journaling, automatic writing, just letting your hand flow. Anything you do to access your intuitive information. Maybe you go for a walk in the woods and walk with a question and let the land respond. This is a beautiful time where messages can be coming from deep in the sub or unconscious, and from the cosmos way out there. And so this is a nice little, sort of almost 24-hour window, which gives us a break from the Mercury retrograde, Mercury combust, which is happening for another couple of weeks here. So take advantage of that time to get some downloads, have a hard conversation, communicate clearly. There's this beautiful window where you can get a really deep download and get that precise angle, that precision in your awareness and communication. Okay, the other thing that's happening tomorrow, busy day, starting at 3 a.m. Venus moves into the nakshatra of Shravana, and Shravana has to do with hearing. It's all about sound and noise, and so for the next couple of weeks, this is a short. Venus moves quickly, so just 11 days, January 6th to 17th. Venus is in Shravana, and so we want to be very careful about the sounds that are around you. What's the difference between noise and sound? What's the difference between noise and music? And so Venus likes beautiful things. Venus likes pleasant, pleasurable, sensorily, sensual, enjoyable things. So just be very aware of what sounds follow you. Do you have the radio on all day? Or what sort of podcasts are you listening to? Is it all about war and politics, or maybe just in this 11-day period, it's wise to go more towards, classical music, some beautiful music, soothing things. I have someone tell you a story. LeVar Burton has a wonderful podcast. You guys know LeVar, my fellow millennials will know LeVar Burton from Rainbow. And so this beautiful man who we grew up with reading his stories now has a podcast where he just reads stories. So that's the sort of thing, as opposed to like the daily New York Times podcast where it's like, cool, what's happening in Ukraine today? It's like, that's not quite the vibe of Venus in Shravana. So invitation to be gentle with your ears and invite beautiful sounds into your life. Then January 15th, the sun enters Capricorn. And this is known as Makara Sankranti. The Sanskrit name for Capricorn is Makara, and the day that the sun changes signs is known as Sankranti. So first of all, this is a day to take the day off. And my teacher Freedom Cole talks about this as beach day, where on a Sankranti day, it's likely that any work you do, you're going to have to redo anyway. It's the sort of thing where if you're building a fence, you're going to find out the next day that the property line is actually 3 feet this way, and you're going to have to take it down and redo it. So you might as well have not built the fence anyway. You might as well have gone to the beach and relaxed. So take the 15th off. And this is one of the days in the year that you can celebrate as New Year's. This is the first time the sun is changing signs since the winter solstice. So, of course, technically, the winter solstice, December 21st, is when the days started getting longer and the sun starts its upward trajectory in the sky. But energetically, this is the first time that the sun has shifted signs since that solstice moment. And so there's a fresh burst of energy. There's some new life. And so all over India, anyone who observes the Hindu calendar is likely to be celebrating Makara Sankranti as a form of New Year's. So there's that invitation as well. And then 2 days later, January 17th, Saturn moves into Aquarius. After 3 long years spent in Capricorn, January 2020, Saturn moved into Capricorn, and we all know what happened next, right? And so January 17th, in my mind, marks the astrological conclusion of the COVID era. So big movement. Saturn will now be in Aquarius for the next 2.5-3 years with a little retrograde period in there. And so it's a new energy, it's a new way of doing things with very much a focus on the people, the populace, the democratic ideals, doing things in a new way. It's all about innovation and the greatest good for the greatest number. And so Saturn's going to put pressure on that area. And so hopefully the sort of hopeful interpretation of this omen is that the people will be putting pressure on the people in power to take care of the needs of the many. Saturn is very much the planet of the working class, of the populace, of the servant, in the servant in the king's court. Right? We look at the planets in the sky as a king's court. The sun is the king, the moon is the queen, Mercury is the messenger, Mars is the warrior, the general, right? All the way down. Venus is the princess, and Saturn is the servant. Saturn is the humble one who just sweeps the floors and does what is needed and is representative of the people, the masses. And so with Saturn in Aquarius, a sign that Saturn rules, there's great hope for some discipline when it comes to making sure that we are pursuing the greatest good, greatest number. So that's about what I came to say. Starting on January 30th, I am hosting a book club where we're going to read Dr. Robert Svoboda's book, The Greatness of Saturn. So this is a very wise time friend, Shani, who is also known as Kronos in the Greek tradition, the one who keeps track of linear time. And so Saturn is the planet of limitation and loss. And so we are wise to become friends with this one so that we can live a good life. We can have a sense of appropriate urgency, knowing that we only have so much time in our bodies on this planet, and so we can make the most of it. And that's ultimately what Saturn wants from us, is to make the most of this opportunity to turn our karma into dharma and be of service to each other and to the world. So if you want to read The Greatness of Saturn, it is one of the most powerful therapeutic myths of all time. It's one of the few books that I've read more than 3 times because I'm different every time, and I need its reminders over and over again about how to have dignity in the difficulty and keep a cosmic perspective regardless of what's happening in the day-to-day. And so if you want to read that book with us, check out multidimensional.club/books, and I'll put a link right this for that as well. Okay, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you out there. Till next time.